Good evening, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. We're going to be here with you for a little bit here during these evening hours as we are tracking these bands of rain and storms that are moving through northwest Georgia right now and into West Georgia, approaching some West Metro counties. The latest development that we have for you right now, as we are watching this system up to the north, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for these areas in northwest Georgia, including Floyd, Gordon, Murray, and Whitfield County. This is what we're watching with this storm right now, as we have this really heavy rain that has been coming out of our Murchie and over in the Tryon area. This part right here that really covers a little bit of Walker County right here and just this far northern part of Floyd County, mainly going into areas of Gordon County just north of Calhoun and also into these parts of Murray County. This is where we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for those areas, in effect until about 8:45 tonight. Now, this storm was located over Lake Marvin, or 10 miles northwest of Calhoun, and it's moving to the northeast at 15 miles an hour. I'm going to put a time of arrival on there so you can see that a little bit better. Moving to the northeast at about 15 miles an hour. You see that the storm is about right there. And as it moves northeast at 15 miles an hour, it would be moving into Hill City, coming up here at 8:25, Carbondale at 8:33, Pratersville at 8:38, and then Nant Springs at around 8:41. The main impacts that we're seeing with this system there in North Georgia would be 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and also some penny-size hail. Let's look at the hail product right now so we can see those areas that we're talking about. If we see, this may take just a second to kind of populate a little bit here. We are so far not detecting any hail out of that, but the National Weather Service is saying that that storm is capable of producing some penny-size hail. The other thing I want to look at is the shear tracks with this, the rotation tracks. Now, we have been watching coming out of Alabama, some of these storms have been exhibiting some rotation. Nothing really strong enough to issue any type of tornado warning, but you can see some of this. These are the tracks of the shear. Let me put it into live just to see if there's any, there's no real blue left in that. Just a little bit right there at 75. Can y'all see that right at Carbondale? This is just a little bit of blue there indicating where in the atmosphere there may be just a little bit of rotation. Now again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning, but we've been watching. I'll put the tracks on here now so you can see going back in time. As this was moving through north of Summerville, here in parts of Chattooga County and in southern areas of Walker County, we've just been watching these tracks where we've seen some rotation within that. Again, nothing really strong or nothing that shows what we need to issue a tornado warning, but it just kind of is letting you know there that we do have some potential rotation with it. Now, this warning, severe warning, is issued because of 60-mile-an-hour winds, the potential for some hail, also some wind, as we mentioned, those 60-mile-an-hour winds, but also that thunder and lightning and the heavy rain. Here is a look at the lightning count right now, just out of that area included in the severe thunderstorm warning. We've got about 12 lightning strikes. That's not really anything crazy. That's in a 15-minute period. So most likely, if you're there in northwest Georgia, you're not only experiencing that heavy rain that's coming through, and I keep looking at my phone here because I just want to make sure where we're getting any new information there on that right now. So you can see here this severe thunderstorm warning. Now, Walker County, Murray County are not in our viewing area, but we're just watching this for these areas of northern Floyd. And again, it's really, I expect that they're going to take Murray and Floyd out of this warning pretty soon. The bulk of this really heavy part now is over into Gordon County and the southern parts of Whitfield County, where we have this warning that's in effect. This is Murray, this is Whitfield right here. So along 75, right up near Resaca and just north of Calhoun, that's where we have this heaviest cell that is pushing up toward the north and to the east at about 15 miles an hour. So we're going to keep a close eye on this system as it continues moving up into that direction. And while we're here, I'm going to take you and just kind of put this into motion so you can see that in Metro Atlanta, we're not seeing any activity at all. The green that you see coming up right here, these are false echoes on the south side. A lot of times this happens at this time of night, and we usually switch it over to a different mode. I'm wanting to stay on this mode though right now so we can get a good look at these storms that we're talking about in North Georgia. We do have these that were coming out of northern Fulton County. So those of you in North Fulton County, you may have experienced a couple of these spotty showers there. That is pushing up into Forsyth County and also into Hall County, pretty much along Lake Lanier. We have just a few showers that are moving through there. The main part of this is the first wave of numerous waves of rain that are going to be pushing into our area here, going through the daytime hours tomorrow. So we're going to have to watch these waves coming through, but these are still holding together pretty well. Even though the sun went down a little bit more than 30 minutes ago, it went down around 7:31 tonight, we should see things calming down as we're losing the heating of the day. Speaking of heating, today we tied a record for today's date. We got up to 93 degrees here this afternoon. Believe it or not, we did it also last year on 2024 on this date. We got up to 93 degrees, and before that, it was in 1980 when we got this hot on this date here. When we were in fall, we shouldn't be this hot. These temperatures well above the average, about 11 degrees above the average. But now we have this rain coming in, and it's kind of feeding off some of that heat that we had today. But now that the sun is going down, or has gone down, we're going to see these temperatures cooling off a little bit more. So as this rain and as these storms move into a slightly cooler environment, we're going to see them weakening just a little bit. But they are still strong in northwest Georgia, where we have this severe thunderstorm warning right now for those counties in northwest Georgia, including southern Walker County, far northern areas of Floyd County. We also have northwest Gordon County, as well as southern Whitfield County and southern Murray County. And I really expect that they're going to take out Walker County and Floyd County really soon, and that would be just northern Gordon County and also southern Whitfield and parts of southern Murray County. Now we have these other ones here. There's Floyd County. Here you see Bartow County getting in on some of this heavy rain. This is about to cross over 75 near Cartersville. That's going to be some heavy rain moving in, also some thunder and lightning and some gusty winds, although that is not classified as severe. I just saw that the National Weather Service did issue a special weather statement for, let's see here. Okay, that's the severe thunderstorm warning. Now here's the special weather statement. They just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning too. So the special weather statement is for Gilmer, Murray, and Fannin counties with this heavy rain that's coming in right there. Now they have just upgraded that to a severe thunderstorm warning. So let me give you the latest on that warning that has just come in. So there are actually two severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect right now. I'm going to put this into live mode, and we will query this severe thunderstorm warning so you can see the counties that are included in that. It's Gilmer County, Gordon County, Murray County, and also Whitfield County. It's southwestern Gilmer, southern Murray, south central Whitfield, and northeastern Gordon County. What we're seeing there is near Nicholsville, 9 miles northeast of Calhoun, a severe thunderstorm moving to the east at 35 miles an hour. So this part of the storm is actually moving a little bit faster. The main threats with this, 60-mile-per-hour winds and also some heavy rain. Just making sure there's nothing else down there on the bottom of that warning that I need to be concerned about there. So let's get in a little bit closer to this one. This one again moving to the northeast at about 35 miles an hour. So I'm going to put a track on this particular storm as well, and this one's moving faster than what the one over to the west was moving to the east at 35 miles an hour. So that's going to take it into Bloodtown at 8:25. All right, here we go. Bloodtown is right here. That would be right in the southern parts of Murray County, and then moving into Gilmer County. Then it goes to Tails Creek at 8:34, Elders at 8:38, Ellijay at 8:46, Cartacay at 8:54, Rolston at 8:59, Diamond at 9:05, and 9:09 Aska. But again, once it gets over into the Aska area, that is when it would be out of that warning polygon, and we'll see if it's going to last any longer there. I want to get you back here to get the expiration time. Okay, that would expire. The second one would expire at 9 o'clock. So the first one, okay, so they just updated this. They did take out Walker County. They took out northern Floyd County. We still have this warning that's in effect that kind of overlaps the second one for those spots there in southern Whitfield, southern Murray, and that northern Gordon County. But really, that's moving now into this newer warning that we have, and that's going to be in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. That's the one moving toward Bloodtown, Cartacay, and also into Asca. So this storm still holding together. Even though we should see these storms weakening a little bit as they continue to move over to the east and move into some cooler and more stable air, this has just been a cluster of storms that has held together pretty well, even coming out of Alabama. And it's all of this right here that you see, and even some of that stretching down into Bartow County there near Cartersville. But this is the cell right here that has that heaviest rain with it, and also the thunder and lightning. Let me go back to my shear tracks. I really just want to keep an eye on this because this storm has had a history of some shear with it and some rotation. Again, no rotation that has been strong enough or tight enough for us to issue a tornado warning, but there's a little bit of history of some rotation within that. So we just have to keep an eye on that as the system continues moving through. I want to show you the shear tracks right here as well. Okay, so the only shear the last shear that we saw was over here, just to the west of 75, right along, just to the west of, right there at 41 as well, north of Sugar Valley. Between Sugar Valley and Villanelle is where we saw that last bit of any suspicious rotation there. But again, nothing really strong enough there for the National Weather Service to issue a tornado warning. So as of right now, we have this severe thunderstorm warning up to the north of us in northwest Georgia. That includes the southern parts of Whitfield County, Murray County, going into Gilmer County right here, northern parts of Gordon County. That's the part of the cell that's exhibiting some strong winds, 60-mile-an-hour winds, heavy rain, and the potential for hail. I want to go back and look at the hail product again. Earlier, we weren't really seeing anything showing up there. But the National Weather Service was saying that this storm is capable of producing penny-sized hail. So that, again, is that severe thunderstorm warning. Now, I want to widen out a little bit. Let's put this into motion, and you can see how these storms have generally been moving over toward the east, east-northeast, really, coming in from Alabama. They cross North Georgia there in Dade, Walker County, also here into parts of Chattooga County. Then near Calhoun, that's where we have those heavier showers. Now, north of Calhoun, that's going to keep moving over that leading edge right here, about to move into Leudeville. We already have some heavy rain in Ellijay, but we have more of that that's about to move in with that strongest part of the storm. And then I want to show you how this extends down to the south. This is going down into areas of Bartow County, heavy rain there, crossing over 75. This is near Cartersville. More of this on the western parts of Bartow County, stretching down into southern Floyd. Polk County, you're getting some heavy rain there on the Georgia line, as well as into Haralson County. These storms have a little bit more lightning with them along I-20 and just north of I-20 as you drive out toward the Alabama line. So really heavy rain coming in with that. That's all part of this wave of rain that's moving our way here during these late night hours. And then look at all this lightning. Let me put this into the live mode. I want to show you just the lightning out of this section right here. And we've got about 45 lightning strikes in this red box right here. That's even south of the severe thunderstorm warning. So even though these aren't classified as severe, we have some heavy rain with them, gusty winds, most likely less than 57, 58 miles an hour. But we could see winds with these around 40 miles an hour. So that would still be gusty, but just not quite to severe criteria. But that's continuing to move in toward the Bremen area. We do have more of that lightning there toward Fruithurst in Cleburne County, Alabama. Some of that stretching back into Jacksonville and back into Anniston too. So an active system coming in. Not everybody experiencing that severe weather, but we do see some of these storms that we'll keep watching, especially in northwest Georgia, where we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 9 o'clock for those counties of southern Murray County, southern Whitfield, Gilmer County, and northern parts of Gordon County, north of Calhoun, with those stronger storms moving in. Now remember, what you're seeing here around Atlanta, the green color, these are false echoes that we often see here at this time of night. I usually switch the modes at this time of night so that we don't see this, but I really want to stay on this mode right now because this is the more sensitive mode where we can get a closer look at really what's going on with all of these storms that continue to move into our direction. Now, what we expect, if you're here in Atlanta right now, wondering, number one, that severe storm that's up to the north, that is going to keep moving to the east. So that's really going to be more impacting areas pushing in toward LJ. And then if it holds together, that would move on up into areas of towns in Union County. Not sure yet if that's going to hold together and be strong for that amount of time. But we still have these showers and storms on the west metro area about to move into Paulding County. Northern Carroll might make it to Douglas, could make it to Cobb, but I really think these are going to be weaker by the time they make it to Atlanta. And that's because we're losing some of the heating of the day. We're watching these temperatures come down. It's still warm out there and still hot for a fall night here in Atlanta, but the weakening or the cooling down or the trending down of these temperatures will help to take away some of the instability that built up today with a high that made it up to 93. I mentioned that was a record-tying temperature out there for today. So we should see these lightning strikes start to come down a little bit, but we do expect some rain to come in here. If you'll recall yesterday, we were telling you about this rain moving in and that much of the daytime hours would stay dry except for a few spotty showers here and there. That's pretty much what has happened. We were expecting these rain chances to come in mainly late afternoon into the evening hours and some overnight, and that's what's going to be pushing our way here for the rest of the evening hours tonight. Here's a closer look at Atlanta. Again, we have had a couple of isolated showers that pushed through a little bit earlier, but that's mainly just that ground clutter that you're seeing there, the false echoes there in northeast Georgia. Not as much going on there, but this is the part that we're watching just north of Calhoun. The heaviest part right now is pretty much pushing out of Whitfield County, now over southern Murray County, south of Chatsworth, and then the next step would be over here into Gilmer County if this holds together, and we think it will as it moves to the northeast at about 35 miles an hour. That's moving at a pretty fast clip there. And here's a look at what we're watching as the history of this storm here over the last 2 hours as it was coming quickly out of northern Alabama and now spreading, holding together as it went through Summerville, now through Calhoun, and continuing to hold together with that leading edge just now pushing into parts of western areas of Gilmer County. Now, closer to the city, you can see these on the west side. They're moving through Polk County. We've got these in Bartow crossing over 75 just north of Cartersville right now. That leading edge there coming from Cedartown and Polk County, southern parts of Floyd County, moving into areas of Paulding County. We have heavy rain in Haralson County. That would move into parts of Carroll County in a bit, and then potentially into Douglas, Paulding, and maybe into Cobb in a little while, depending on how that holds together. Cleveland County, Randolph County, you're getting in on some of that heavy rain and also the thunder and lightning that's going to keep pushing into your direction too. So there's a wider look at those storms. And then as we widen out even a little bit more, there are additional waves back into southern Alabama, back into Mississippi, more in Arkansas, some coming into western Tennessee. So it's all part of this same system. That's why we're going to have more of these waves of rain pushing through our area tomorrow. It's not going to be raining all day long. It's just going to be off and on rain through the day, but some of those showers in those waves will have some heavy rain with them and also thunder and lightning and the potential for some gusty winds. I'm getting a report now of a tree down in Polk County. Let me get more info on this right here. A tree down in the 600 block of Cashtown Road in Aragon. So that's just some evidence of some the strong winds that are in association with that. Let me go back here to the other feed. We also have a special weather statement, which is a statement just below severe for areas of central Paulding County, northeast Polk, and southern Bartow counties. That's what I was just showing you there on the West Georgia line. A thunderstorm over Euharlee, 7 miles west of Cartersville, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour, 40-mile-an-hour winds with that, and frequent lightning with it, and no signs of any rotation with that storm either. So a lot to watch here during these evening hours here from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, and that's the luxury of us here being able to stream on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We can kind of show you what's happening there with those storms. Here is a live look. This is our tower cam in Rome. You see that the streets are wet in Rome from some rain that came through just a little bit earlier. Here is our tower cam right now. I know this is really dark. This is at the University of North Georgia. You can see just some of the lights in the background, but I wanted just to show you this because around Dahlonega we do have some showers that are nearby. And then here is our tower cam right now for Atlanta. We are mainly dry here, but we're going to see some of that rain from the west that's going to be pushing into our area. Here is a look at the severe weather outlook. It is mainly for areas to the west of us, and we have seen some stronger storms in Alabama, back into Tennessee, and also Mississippi. But as you zoom in a little bit closer here, you see that northwest Georgia is in part of that level 1 risk. Dade County, Walker County, parts of Catoosa County. But again, we have this severe thunderstorm warning now that's Gordon County moving into parts of Gilmer County. So that severe thunderstorm warning, the only one that we have right now, is just outside of that level 1 risk. Now, going into the day tomorrow, you'll see that that green color extends over into the rest of metro Atlanta and areas to the south and east of us. It is a low-level severe weather threat, but it is still a severe weather threat. Maybe a couple of isolated stronger storms tomorrow, where those main threats would be the potential for some strong wind, pockets of heavy rain, and also some thunder and lightning with that. So as we mentioned, we do have an 11 Alive weather impact alert that is in effect for the daytime hours here on your Thursday. Really at any time you can see showers developing, then it may stop for a bit. Then we'll see another wave of rain coming in. Then it may stop for a bit. Then another wave of rain comes in. It's just going to be waves of showers. And within those waves, there will be some thunder and lightning possible, and the potential for some isolated strong winds too. Definitely drive with caution. You know, it's been a while since we have rain or any substantial rain or any widespread rain. We've had, you know, a lot of areas that have picked up some of those isolated storms that are just kind of the pop-up variety. But this is more of a widespread rain, and more people are getting hit by it. You've got a lot of oil buildup and grease buildup on the roads. So as that rain mixes with that, they're going to be extra slick, as that oil and water don't really mix that well, and that's going to make it pretty slippery out there. So definitely be careful over the next couple of days as we're tracking this rain that continues to move on through. Speaking of temperatures, let me show you what we're watching with these temperatures around North Georgia right now. I mentioned that the high got up to 93 degrees out there today. Let me show you that first before I get to the temperatures over our area. 93 degrees was the high today, and that tied the record for today's date. The last time we hit 94 or 93 on this date was last year on 2024, but before that it was in 1980. So this doesn't happen a lot at this time of year to get temperatures this hot, but we did tie a record for today's date. Now tomorrow those temperatures are going to come down a little bit more as we have more clouds and excuse me, these showers that are going to be moving through too. So here's a look at where we are right now. I mentioned we got up to 83. Right now it's 87. This is at 8:26 at night, when earlier the sun has been down for almost an hour. It went down around 7:31 tonight. So we see cooling up in North Georgia, where we see more clouds and we see the rain coming through. It's at 75 in Rome. They had some rain-cooled air there. Look at Canton at 72, Dalton 71, Blairsville 73. So that rain-cooled air really helps a lot as this rain comes in and cools things off. But we're 87 here, 82 in Covington. So these temperatures are going to start cooling down a little bit more, and as they do, we think that's going to take away some of the instability of that rain and those storms that are over to the west of us. And hopefully things will be weakening just a little bit more as they continue moving closer to the metro area. Here's the forecast track. I just kind of want to walk you through this right now, and then I'll get back to radar in just a second. You can see those storms that are to the north of us. As they move to the east, they do start to weaken a little bit by 10 o'clock. Still showers around, but not as strong as they were earlier. And then overnight, we're going to have scattered showers tomorrow, scattered showers around, even in the morning. And then we may break up a little bit in the noontime hour, and even a little sunshine may come out here and there. And then as we head into Thursday afternoon, additional scattered showers. But as you can see, it's not widespread rain where everybody is getting hit. These are just going to be some good scattered showers, the waves of rain that I'm talking about here. And even into the evening hours, more of these waves of rain, pretty much, let's say roughly along the I-85 corridor and eastward. Maybe not as much going on Thursday night up in parts of North Georgia, but even still into Friday morning, additional showers, a few thunder showers around. Then things start to push on to the east with that main area of rain, but we're still not letting up on the rain chances Friday afternoon, fewer showers around, but still a 40% chance for rain. Not as much as we're going to see tomorrow, but still a 40% chance for rain. Then that moves through, and then things should start improving here on Saturday. Maybe a lingering shower in northeast Georgia Saturday morning, but for the most part, just a 20% chance for some isolated showers. We're watching any wraparound moisture behind the system that moves through that could give us just a couple of spotty showers. I know you're probably looking at this. Athens, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Georgia, Alabama's playing in the evening hours, but I know a lot of folks are going to be out there tailgating in the afternoon. The potential for, again, a low risk for some isolated showers that could be moving through in those afternoon hours. All right, let me take you back to this severe thunderstorm warning that we're watching there in northwest Georgia. Let's look at, we now have a special weather statement for Carroll, Douglas, Haralson, Paulding, and Polk County. That's because these storms, so you got Floyd, Polk County, Haralson County, Paulding County, that's because of these storms moving through that have about 40-mile-an-hour winds with them, 40 to 50-mile-an-hour winds below what we would classify as severe storms. The only severe storm we have right now is still this one. Now there are two polygons that are on top of each other. The first one expires at 8:45. However, it has pretty much been absorbed by this warning that we have right now for Gilmer, Gordon, Murray, and Whitfield. So it's the far, here you see Gilmer, a big chunk of Gilmer County included in that, the southern parts of Murray County, small northern part of Gordon County included in that, Gilmer, Gordon, Murray, and Whitfield. With that system that's up to the north. So this is getting closer to Ellijay, this leading edge right now, moving into Ellijay. Heavy rain, thunder and lightning, those are the main issues with that, and 60-mile-per-hour winds. And this is moving to the east at 35 miles an hour. I expect that we're going to get an update on this polygon at any moment now that's going to take out part of northern parts of Gordon County and parts of southern or southwestern Murray County and southern Whitfield County too. But we'll wait and see. I expect that to happen at any moment now because the core of that storm has really moved more over to the east, and it's pushing into this area here of Murray County, moving into Gilmer County, and also some of these showers to the south from Calhoun down toward Pine Log. These are not anything to, ignore. We have some heavy rain with them, but they're just not classified as severe storms, and that stretches down through these areas of southern Gordon and through parts of Bartow County. We've been watching this one move through Bartow County. Earlier, it was just on the west side of 75. Now it's pushing on the east side of 75. We've got a cluster of lightning right here, just over to the east of Cartersville, not too far from Adairsville, with some heavy rain that is moving through there. About to move into Cherokee County. This part right here, about to push into Cherokee County. We'll keep an eye on that because that lightning count, that cluster there, actually has more lightning now with it than it did a little bit earlier. And then these additional showers and storms here in Polk County, also into areas of Haralson County. This is where they have issued a special weather statement. Not quite a severe thunderstorm. It's below what we would classify as a severe thunderstorm. Winds there at around 40, maybe up to 50 miles an hour. Anything to be classified as severe has to have winds of around 57, 58 miles an hour or greater, or hail that is an inch in diameter or larger. And speaking of the hail, I want to look back here at our hail product again, just to see. Now I'm looking really close at this on my computer model, so I can see this a little bit closer here. Not seeing any hail showing with this. Let me go back to the shear as well, just to see. Okay, I'm not really seeing any shear with that. Let's look at the shear tracks as well. This may take just a second for this to populate. We had a little bit of shear earlier. The blue, I know it's really hard to see, right around 225. There was just a little bit of a rotation there with that earlier, and also on the west of 75. But really, ever since these have moved to the east of 75, we're not seeing any more rotation. Now, when I show you this rotation, these are just indicators of rotation where it wasn't strong enough or tight enough for the National Weather Service to issue a tornado warning out of that. But still, when you've got any kind of rotation within any type of storms, it gets your attention, and you want to keep an eye on it just to make sure nothing gets stronger. But I'm really thinking the trend is going to be that these storms should be weakening as they continue to move over to the east. because the sun has been down for now just over an hour. Even though we're still 87 in Atlanta, these temperatures are going to start coming down just a little bit more. All right, they've just updated the severe thunderstorm warning. Let me get in tighter there. So that pretty much is what I was just saying that I thought was going to happen soon. So I've zoomed in tighter here. They took out what was a little part was in Whitfield. They took out part of northwestern Gordon County. They took out southwestern Murray County, but still this part of Gordon County, northeastern Gordon County, southeastern Murray County, and then much of Gilmer County, including Ellijay and Cartacay, you are in this severe thunderstorm warning. And let me look and see. I'm going to put this up here for you. I want to look and see if they have updated the speed of this at all. So now the severe thunderstorm is near Tails Creek, or 7 miles southwest of Ellijay, moving east at 40 miles an hour. So earlier it was going 35 miles an hour. Now they're saying that's going 40 miles an hour, where we have these storms that continue to move on through. Let me check something here for you really quick. We just have an update on the high today. I want to just make sure. Okay, still 93, so that was still, I just wanted to make sure the official climatological data just came out. I wanted to make sure that the high didn't bump up one more degree to 94 from when they reported earlier the high, but still 93. That was a tie for a record for today's date. But all right, back to this storm here. A leading edge, the main core of that storm, where we're seeing the potential for severe thunderstorm winds of 60 miles an hour. That's really the main threat with this, 60 mile an hour winds. We have thunder and lightning with it, the pockets of heavy rain, but we're not really seeing any signs of any rotation with it right now. Earlier, some of these storms were showing some signs of rotation, and that was something that we wanted to really keep an eye on. But again, as this moves over to the east, it's going to move into an environment that's a little more stable. The temperatures are starting to come down a little bit. When you take the heating away, that almost takes away some of the fuel from those storms, because they feed off of that warm air. But again, 93 degrees was a hot one today, tying a record. But now we're starting to see the temperatures coming down a little bit. Now in Atlanta, it's still 87. I'll be interested to see what the 9 o'clock temperature is coming up in just a little bit. But we'll be watching these storms hopefully weakening a little bit more as they push on over to the east. And again, this leading edge about to push into Ellijay, where we have that heaviest rain now that continues to push on through. So there's Ellijay, there's Cartacay, there's that leading edge right here that's about to move into Ellijay. So if you're watching us on streaming right now in Ellijay, I want you to be aware that it is about to get really windy, and it is about to get really wet where you are as this rain moves in. Now, where we have that severe thunderstorm warning, I keep looking at my phone because I'm looking for updates from the Weather Service. I'm not looking for texts or anything, trying to get some information, new information in from the Weather Service. But where we have the actual severe thunderstorm warning, we're not seeing a lot of lightning in this polygon. We have some lightning strikes here to the south of that into parts of Gordon County. So you're hearing thunder, seeing lightning, and then even more lightning with this around Cartersville. I want to show you the lightning count just out of this part that's over Cartersville right now. You also have some heavy rain there too, but the winds just aren't strong enough where you are. Even though we have heavy rain and thunder and lightning, the winds aren't as strong to trigger a severe thunderstorm warning. So look at this, 43 lightning strikes from this right here, from Kingston to Harley over to Cartersville. I just saw another update here about in Polk County. We have some wind damage, a tree down in Polk County. Let me get that for you here. 600 block of Cashtown Road in near Aragon. This was around 8 o'clock when that happened. That was to the east of Cedartown and just to the north and west of Rockmart where we had that. So that was over here with some of the storms as they were starting, where we had a tree down there in the 600 block of Cashtown Road there in Aragon. So that's the latest update that we have here from the National Weather Service. Let me get back to that correct page so I can keep an eye on what they are saying there from the National Weather Service chat. So it's a great thing that we have here from the National Weather Service, where they were able to communicate stuff directly to us. we're able to get that and then communicate it to you as those storms are, still going pretty well there in parts of northwest Georgia. So no warning in Cartersville right now, but right there along 75 north of Emerson into Cartersville, you have some really heavy rain, intense thunder and lightning too, as those storms move over to the east. These are also moving about 30 miles an hour or so, and then come down a little bit more. This is all still north of I-20 in West Georgia, right when you get to the Georgia line. Here's I-20 going through Bremen here, crossing over into Cleburne County. But as you go north of Bremen in Haralson County, up into Polk County, still some heavy rain there. That's pushing into Paulding County. So that's to the south of that cluster up in Cartersville that has the heavy rain and thunder and lightning with it. And then to the south of that, Randolph County, over from Folsom, Wedowee, and Roanoke, you've got a cluster of heavier rain, a little bit of lightning with that. That's going to keep moving through too. Again, the green color south of Atlanta right now, those are false echoes. I'm keeping it on this mode because I want to keep an eye on the intricacies of what we see here with the higher resolution of this model, so I can get a closer look at all these storms that continue to move through. All right, I'm going to flip to velocity mode. I'm not doing this to alarm anybody because we don't really see any rotation, but I just kind of want to do a scan of some of these storms just to make sure that I don't see anything out of the ordinary. No, I don't see anything out of the ordinary with these storms here at all. Just still that severe thunderstorm warning for those areas coming out of Murray County. This is Chatsworth here. So the back edge of this is about to move out of Murray County. We still have these storms in northern Gordon though, but the main part that has prompted the severe thunderstorm warning is in western Gilmer County now, getting closer to Ellijay and also closer to Cartacay. There's Ellijay right there. All right, that leading edge right on top of you right now in Ellijay. Right there at Highway 5 where all those roads intersect here, 52 and 5 and 76, where they kind of intersect right there at Ellijay. That heaviest rain coming into your area right now. But again, we're not seeing as much lightning with this system now as we did a little bit earlier. And that's all continuing to move on over to the east. I'm just looking to make sure I don't see anything else on these computers too. But this is all pushing in closer to Atlanta. Let me just look. Again, I'm just going to check the shear tracks. Okay, now we have had a little bit of shear. See the blue there? Now, I'm just showing you this. What happens when I do these extended weather updates, I'm actually talking to you as I'm looking at this. So I never want to, when I'm looking at stuff like this, alarm you for any reason, but it's just me studying what I'm seeing out there with all of the tools. You can see some of the blue here south of you, Harley, and there to the west of Cartersville. This is where we just had a couple of suspect areas of rotation, although it wasn't anything that would cause a tornado warning or anything. But sometimes within some of these individual cells, we could see a little bit of that. And those are really small. I'm not worried about them at all, but it's just interesting to see those spots where we do have maybe just a few transient areas of rotation that we just kind of really need to keep an eye on. But the main thing is we have this first wave of rain continuing to move over toward the east. As it does that, it is just that, heavy rain, thunder and lightning. We have the one severe thunderstorm warning that is still in effect until 9 o'clock tonight, and that is for these areas of northern Gordon, southeastern parts of Murray County, and going into Gilmer County. And that main part that's the heaviest is right over Gilmer County right now, where we are seeing the potential for some 60-mile-an-hour winds, thunder and lightning with that too. But what I'm also watching, even though this is not a warned storm, I want you folks in Cartersville to know this is also some really heavy rain and more lightning in Cartersville than we have up where we have the severe thunderstorm warning. But severe thunderstorm warnings aren't based on lightning. They are based on wind speed, when you have winds of 57, 58 miles an hour or greater. Also based on hail size, where you could have hail 1 inch in diameter or larger. We're not meeting that criteria for hail, but we are meeting that up to the north of us for the wind. Now, even though there's a lot more lightning and very intense heavy rain in Cartersville, we're just not seeing those severe winds like they were having up to the north of you. So that's why in Cartersville, you're not included in a severe thunderstorm warning. You are just in an area with some really heavy rain, thunder and lightning there. And again, we'll keep an eye on any of those potential transient areas of potential rotation as that continues moving over to the east. Now, to the south, this additional heavy rain is pushing still through Polk County, northern parts of Haralson County. Now this leading edge over Dallas right now. We've got a couple lightning strikes with that just north of Dallas. This heavy rain pushing into western Paulding County. Much of this is most likely going to hold together moving into Cobb County in just a little bit. And it's mainly heavy rain, thunder and lightning. It should continue the weakening trend as all of this moves on over to the east into some slightly more stable air here. Again, now that the sun has gone down, these temperatures are going to start coming down a little bit more, and that robs the storms of the heating or the fuel needed for them to get any stronger. Metro Atlanta, you're most likely not going to get heavy, crazy rain, but you're going to get some of this rain coming in really within the next hour or so. These showers will be moving through. Some thunder and lightning is still possible with those as well, but they shouldn't be as strong as they have been for those areas to the west. Now, the good thing about this is we don't need storms, we don't need severe weather, we don't need any damage, we don't need any trees down, we don't need any lightning strikes or any damage or lightning fires, but we do need this rain. And this is the most substantial rain or consistent rain or the widest coverage of rain that we have had in weeks. Now, I know we've had some pop-up storms here and there, but those are just the really isolated areas of rain that has been coming through. But this is more of a wave of rain pushing through right now, impacting more people, dumping a little bit more rain. Your grass is going to love it if we see these showers move in, but we just don't want any type of lightning fires or anything there for you as well. Here is another, let me get this one really quick, special weather statement. This is for areas of Cherokee. Oops, I'm sorry, that's my alarm telling me that I normally do a stream at 9 o'clock, but I started one tonight at 8:02 or 8:03, and I'm still on, and I most likely am going to stay on past 9 o'clock to do my regular stream. So I always set an alarm on my phone to remind me that my stream is coming up, so that's what that alarm was. So again, strong thunderstorm impacting portions of southwestern Cherokee, southwestern Pickens, and eastern Bartow counties through 9:15 tonight. So that's this that I'm talking about with that intense lightning that's over Cartersville. So this is what the Weather Service is saying. Strong thunderstorm near White or 10 miles west of Canton, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. Up to 40 mile per hour wind, pea-size hail, and frequent cloud to ground lightning. Again, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. The key with that statement is that the winds were below or just at or near 40 miles an hour. Now remember, one of the criteria for severe thunderstorm winds would be 58 miles an hour or greater, or hail an inch in diameter or greater. So even though we had the winds that were stronger up in Ellijay and up in Gilmer County, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for you still until 9 o'clock. You're not seeing as much lightning there. But look at this cluster of lightning right now in Bartow County getting closer to Cartersville, coming in on Cartersville right now. So we have these storms here I mentioned earlier in that special weather statement that I was just reading, we mentioned just west of Canton, that's this leading edge of these storms right here that have winds of around 40 miles an hour. So that's below severe status. However, you've got heavy rain and you've got a lot of lightning with this too. So I just want you to be aware of that. That's dangerous, but lightning is not one of the criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning. So we've got that cluster right there that's going to keep moving into those parts of Cherokee County, crossing over 75 now, and then 575 is going to be next when we see those storms push on over to the east. And then south of that, these storms now right on top of Dallas in Paulding County. We've got a little bit of lightning with that. So we've got Paulding County right here, stretching down into northern Carroll County. This is about to move into Douglas County. And then here is the line between Paulding and Cobb. So West Cobb, you're about to get in on some of this rain. We do think it's going to continue weakening. I do think we'll get some in Atlanta, but not as strong as what we had just a little bit earlier over to the west of us, and not as strong as this one that is now. Let's get a closer look at that, all right? So updating this severe thunderstorm warning, the bulk of this heaviest part, now I don't know if they're going to wait, if they're going to take out Murray and Gordon, or they're going to just wait and let this expire at 9 o'clock. But really, if you're in Murray County and northern Gordon County, the strongest part of the storm has already moved past you. So don't worry about this severe thunderstorm warning there that you're seeing in this polygon. The worst of it is right over here in Gilmer County, over Ellijay, moving into Cartacay, continuing to cross in through eastern Gilmer County. Now, it's going to be interesting to see, since this storm is about to pass out of Gilmer County, it'll be interesting to see if they're going to issue a new one to the east to potentially include South Fannin or northern Dawson or any of Lumpkin or any of White County or any of the Union County there near Suches. Let me go back here and just see if they're giving us any indication of that storm expiring soon. Hold on with me just a second, guys. I have to get to the right channel here. Hold on just a second. I'm just checking to make sure. Data feed. There we go. Peachtree City. Tree down. Well, I've already told you about that tree down in Aragon. Yeah, nothing really new from them coming in right now. So it's going to be interesting. It's 10 till 9 right now. It'll be interesting to see if they allow this severe thunderstorm warning to expire on time at 9, or if they will hold it together and issue it for eastern Gilmer or southern parts of Fannin or over into Union County and Lumpkin County. So we'll be waiting on that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep on going till 9 o'clock and then start my regular stream that I normally do at 9 o'clock, and we'll keep tracking these storms. And then if we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning anymore, I'll still be tracking these storms for you, but then we'll get into the other stuff that I usually talk about at 9 o'clock, like the tropics, where we have Tropical Storm Umberto that is out there right now. And so we're going to track that, and another system that we really need to keep an eye on as well that is down to the south near Puerto Rico. And we have to watch that because there's the potential that that system could have some impacts on the southeastern coastline, or even just be close to the southeastern coastline. So we'll have that here in just a minute. Let me update a couple of things here on my graphics. So I'll be ready for that here in just a moment as we do that at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock. But in the meantime, we are still tracking those storms that are over to the west of us and north of us, where we have this severe thunderstorm warning for those areas of Gilmer County, and that is going to be in effect here for another 9 minutes or so. But here's what I want you to see. This is some good heavy rain, and this is still holding together pretty well, and we're still seeing a lot of lightning up there in Cartersville and in Bartow County, moving in to areas of Cherokee County and also here in Pickens County, getting some good heavy rain and thunder and lightning with that. So this, and some of that lightning now on the south side of this actual warning. So this is going to be interesting, as this main area of heavy rain that prompted, and the strong winds that prompted the severe thunderstorm warning, it is about to move out of the polygon. You see that? So we had these polygons that were out to the west earlier as the storm is moving up in this direction, and then the Weather Service keeps taking out bits of that polygon as the storm moves on over to the east. So it does look to me like it's not as strong as it was. We do have some bowing right here, though, to watch. A lot of times when you see it bowing out like that, that's an indicator of some strong winds. So it's going to be interesting to watch at 9 o'clock if they are going to just let this expire and then just issue some special weather statements, or if they will continue this severe thunderstorm warning to include parts of eastern areas of Gilmer, southern parts of Fannin, or over into Union County, or maybe even into parts of Lumpkin County. So that's what we're going to wait on here, and then we'll launch into my regular 9 o'clock stream that I normally do here at this time. And again in Atlanta, the green that you see here That is not rain coming down in Atlanta. These are some false echoes. Normally, I change modes at this time because at night, that's when we get these false echoes. But the reason I don't want to change modes is because if I did, we wouldn't see this. Now let me show you this. What I want you to see here, these are some heavier storms here, heavier rain back to the west. You see the dark color right here from Central Hatchie going up past Carrollton. See the dark color there ahead, that dark green? That is somewhat of an outflow boundary from the storms that are to the west, and some of those storms that may be collapsing a little bit, and that collapsing almost forms this outflow boundary that you see there, and then often from that we can see additional storms developing from it. So that's just an interesting outflow boundary that we're watching right now. Okay, so they are issuing a, let me get to this really quick. A special weather statement for those areas to the east of the severe thunderstorm warning right now. Let me go back up here to that. So while I'm talking about it, you guys can see. So for special weather statement for 40-mile-per-hour winds for Fannin, Gilmer, Lumpkin, and Union County. Those are the exact counties that I just mentioned a little while ago. So the indication most likely is that this warning is most likely going to expire as scheduled at 9 o'clock. And instead of issuing another warning to the east, they are issuing the special weather statement for northwestern Lumpkin, eastern Gilmer, northwestern Dawson, southwestern Union, and southeastern Fannin counties through 9:30, as we're seeing a strong thunderstorm near Roy, or 7 miles east of Ellijay. All right, so here's Cartacay, Ellijay right up here, all right, 7 miles to the east of Ellijay. That's that leading edge there, moving east at 45 miles an hour. They're now saying instead of 60-mile-an-hour winds with this storm, which made it a severe thunderstorm, they're now saying up to 40-mile-per-hour winds, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, and heavy rain, again moving to the east at 45 miles an hour. So this warning most likely is going to expire at 6 minutes. Based on what they're saying right now, we don't think that they will issue another severe thunderstorm warning, but a special weather statement as that moves to the east. And again, pretty much the bulk of this is out of that polygon here, continuing to move over to the east. But we still have this heavy rain that is down into parts of Pickens County, there near Ludeville, moving into Dawson County right here. There's Juneau, Silver City. Okay, so that still has to move over, pushing over Canton. This is still heavy rain and thunder and lightning. It's just the winds are not up to where it would be classified as a severe storm. So you've got heavy rain that just moved through Cartersville, just went over 75. Now it's between 75 and 575. This part right here on the county line between Bartow County and Cherokee County, where we have this heaviest rain, also plenty of thunder and lightning there, moving over toward Canton with more of that that's going to keep moving through. Now, look in northwestern Cobb County around Kennesaw. Here's Ackworth, all right, Kennesaw right up here. There's 75 north through Cobb, 575 to Canton, where you got the heavy rain there. Staying on 75 around Lake Allatoona, you have this, more rain there. And now this out of Paulding is pushing this rain into northwestern parts of Cobb County right now. Very heavy rain coming down in those areas. And the lightning with it is mainly to the north. We're not really seeing any lightning. We did have lightning back in Polk County and also into Haralson County, but now this over Dallas and Paulding County, yeah, it's heavy rain. We've got some gusty winds with that, but it's not as much lightning with it as we had a little bit earlier. And then along I-20, around Bremen, not as active. Around Carrollton, just north of Carrollton, you've got a couple little spots that are showing up there. And then we'll go on down to this leading edge still, coming out of Wedowee, Alabama. Again, this is Cleburne County, Randolph County. Heavy rain coming in with some thunder and lightning. That's about to move into southwestern Carroll and northwestern areas of Heard County. And again, watching this green right there, somewhat of an outflow boundary where we can see some other storms developing along that boundary. It's almost like a little mini cold front. As a storm collapses and the cold air from that storm rushes down and fans out, we get these outflow boundaries that develop, and it's almost like mini cold fronts coming in, and often storms can develop along that too. So this is some good rain coming through. As I mentioned, we don't want floods, we don't want lightning fires, we don't want wind damage, we don't want trees down. But if we can just get some good rain that covers a more consistent area or a larger area, this is going to be good for us. Now, we're going to get the drought update in tomorrow on Thursday. And you may be hoping that, wow, when the drought comes out, I hope that we'll be able to see the impacts of this rain that we had today. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you're not going to see that, because the drought update that is released on Thursdays, they take the information that ended on Tuesday. So today is not even included in the drought update for tomorrow, and tomorrow is not included in the drought update. So ironically, we most likely are going to be telling you tomorrow, on a day that we are having rain, that our drought is worse, because the data stops on Tuesday, the Tuesday before the Thursday when it's released. So don't get your hopes up that when we show you the drought update tomorrow that it's going to show improvements, because it won't. But I'm hoping that we are experiencing some improvements in the drought with these storms we're having tonight, and also the off and on waves of rain that we'll be dealing with during the day tomorrow too. I'm going to put this into live mode, and I want to widen out. Let's go back up here. I want to do a lightning count on this. I'm not going to include the lightning that's over toward Anniston. I really just want to try to include North Georgia. 44 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes over our entire North Georgia area here in that box. I didn't include that because what I want to do is keep kind of a track from North Georgia down to the south here, including Atlanta and Athens. I want to keep an eye on this within the next 15 minutes as we continue this stream to see if that lightning count comes down. I really do think the number of lightning strikes has come down. I've been doing other counts, but I want to do this now, a more consistent count in this same area, so we can see if that lightning count is coming down. And I do think it is, and that's a good indicator that these storms are weakening a little bit more as they get closer here to the Atlanta area. So, all right, it is 9 o'clock right now. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. We have been streaming with you for about 57, 58 minutes. I think I was in here around 8:02, 8:03 after the first severe thunderstorm warning was issued in North Georgia. The first one was expired at 8:45. Then the National Weather Service issued another severe thunderstorm warning for areas of North Georgia, including Gordon County, Southern Murray, and also Gilmer County. That just expired at 9 o'clock. So the yellow polygon that we were tracking there in North Georgia has disappeared because that severe thunderstorm warning now has expired. They are not issuing another severe thunderstorm warning from that cell because it's weakening moving into eastern Gilmer County. Now, earlier we had winds around 60 miles an hour. Now, we still have some wind gusts around 40 miles an hour with them, but that is below what we would consider severe. So in Gilmer County, you're still getting heavy rain that's moving into southern Fannin. That'll then move into areas of Union County, also into Lumpkin County. But we also have been watching these cells here that have been coming out of Bartow County. We had a lot of thunder and lightning there near Cartersville, right here. Now that is moving up into parts of Pickens County, really heavy rain, also into western Cherokee County, getting toward Canton. This still has a lot of lightning with it, even though those winds don't meet the criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning. So even though it's not technically severe, those of you in those areas of Pickens County and Cherokee County, you have heavy rain and you have a lot of lightning. So you're seeing a lot of those lightning flashes, as well as hearing the thunder and experiencing the heavy rain as that keeps moving over toward the east. And then come down a little bit more, still there in western Cobb County, there around Ackworth and Kennesaw, heavy rain coming in there. Dallas, Paulding County, you're getting a lot of rain, almost county-wide there, with, again, winds that could be around 40 miles an hour. A couple of lightning strikes there around Dallas, and then some sporadic lightning strikes still back into Polk County. But we're seeing things weakening there in Polk County and also Haralson County and Carroll County. Still a couple of isolated stronger storms there along I-20, between I-20 and Carrollton. And then that's going to move into Douglasville. Paulding County is getting it. West Cobb, you are next to get in on that heavy rain. But the weakening trend continues here as this system gets closer to Atlanta. Yes, I do think this rain is going to make it into Atlanta, but it's just not going to be as strong as it was. Now, we still have some of this lightning back into Anniston. Additional lingering showers there from Anniston, not too far off from Talladega, there along I-20 in Alabama. So that still is going to move into Cleburne and Randolph. That should also weaken a little bit more. But again, in Cleburne and Randolph, yeah, you still have some rain there, but it's not over. You have another wave coming in from Anniston that will have some thunder and lightning there with it. So that's what we have been watching, and that's what we're going to continue watching as we go through the rest of the evening hours in these storms that are going to be pushing into Atlanta, but in a weakening trend moving into Atlanta with, again, mainly rain, some thunder and lightning around, but the winds that are below criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning. So here's a closer look at the city. Now, the green that you're seeing in Atlanta right now, these are false echoes. I've been explaining here. So we get these false echoes that happen on this radar mode here at this time of night. And I usually switch modes, but I'm not switching modes right now, and I'm just reminding you that this is not rain over Atlanta. The light green that you see there, where you get into the dark greens and definitely the yellows and reds, that is actual rain. But the reason I want to keep it into this mode, because it's higher resolution, I can zoom in tighter to these storms and get a better look at them based on the lower resolution, that if I had switched modes out there, that would block out those false echoes. So there's that leading edge, again, coming out of Gilmer County, moving into southern Fannin, Lumpkin County near Dahlonega, southern parts of Union County, as that heavy rain continues to move on through, and also that thunder and lightning too. Things are calmer back into Somerville and also Armurchie. It's just this part right here from Cartacay down to Jasper, down to Waleska, and down toward Canton. This is all still really heavy rain moving into Dawson County, moving through Pickens County, moving through western Cherokee County, thunder and lightning and heavy rain with that. That's crossing over 575. Not as much down now over into Somerville and Armurchie and Rome, starting to calm down a little bit too. And not as much back into Alabama. So this is one wave that's coming through here north of I-20. There you again see Paulding County moving into West Cobb, Carroll getting in on some of that, Cleburne and Randolph, more of that coming in from Anniston. That'll keep pushing on over to the east. Let's do another lightning count. I know I just did one probably, 8 minutes ago? I believe when I did the count in this same area, again, I start right here, include just a little bit of west of Alabama, including Cleburne and Randolph, but I'm not including that stuff in Anniston. Earlier we had 44 lightning strikes, now it's 42, so it's only down a couple of strikes. So that's not anything significant of any weakening or a lightning count drastically coming down a little bit. If we saw this go from 42 to 25, that would be something that I would like to see if we're seeing these storms weakening, because we would see that lightning count coming down pretty drastically. But it's only down a couple of strikes. I'll do another one of these lightning counts for you coming up here in just a little bit. Here is a look at what we're watching. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just go into this mode here. And you can see these storms, South Alabama, more back into Mississippi, and then more in Tennessee, Arkansas, southern Missouri. So these are the waves of rain that are going to keep pushing through our area during the day tomorrow. That's going to make it a little wetter. And that's why we have an 11 Alive weather impact alert in effect here for tomorrow, as we're going to see these waves of rain coming in. Here is a live look right now in these areas of Rome, where we've had some good rain coming through Floyd County and into the Rome area. The streets are still dry. We still have some rain coming down. Like if you look, can you see in this light right here, that street light? You can see those raindrops that are coming down. You see some of the rain there on the street as well. So still some rain in Rome, just not as heavy as it was a little bit earlier. I know this is a dark picture. This is our University of North Georgia camera in Lumpkin County. I'm just looking at this because sometimes when you have rain on the lens, it will kind of disperse some of those raindrops, and you can see that in the light, but nothing really too crazy going on right now up in Lumpkin County. Now, look at the high temperature today. What do you see here? High of 93. Yeah, that's hot, right? That is 11 degrees above average at 82. But I want you to see this. The record high for today's date is 93. That was set in 1980. And again, on this date last year in 2024, we hit 93. So that tied the record for today's date. Our low this morning was 71, a mild start. We should be around 64 to start for this time of year. Now, we mentioned yesterday that the rain wouldn't come in until later. We've got some of that rain on the west side right now, but we have not had any rain in the official rain bucket yet at Hartsfield-Jackson. So that rain deficit grows. We're now more than 3.5 inches below where we should be in rainfall for the year. And you can kind of see what we're talking about with those mild temperatures this morning. And then we moved up today, 92 at 4 o'clock, but then we hit 93 between 4 and 5 o'clock. That has been the official high for today, which tied the record for today's date. So here's what we're watching with our severe weather threat. The Weather Service actually updated this. Now, I'm gonna need to move that over. They just updated this a moment ago. That severe threat level 1 risk is now, it was just northwest Georgia, and now it's pretty much along that area of rain that's been moving through where we have that potential that a couple of storms could turn severe. But I do think that weakening trend is going to continue with this. Then, during the day tomorrow, as additional waves of rain move through, the rest of us are in this level 1 risk for some severe storms. Again, we don't think it's going to be widespread. We're just talking about some isolated, stronger storms rolling through our area, a good bit of rain, those waves coming through, but not everybody's going to get a severe thunderstorm. I think that would be a little more isolated, and any of those isolated storms that develop would have winds around, have mainly strong winds and maybe some small hail, heavy rain, and also thunder and lightning. This wouldn't be a real tornadic type event or anything. Now look at these temperatures. We got up to 93 today. The sun has been down since around 7:31. Right now it's 9:09, 9:10. We're still at 85 in Atlanta. We're still holding on to some heat, so that's still hot stuff here. Covington's 84, Milledgeville is 81. But Peachtree City is down to 79. I want you to look, though, to the north where we've had more clouds and we've had some of those showers. It is 73 in Canton thanks to rain-cooled air. Marietta beginning to cool back to 78 now as the rain is moving in. Carrollton 74, Rome 75, Gainesville 79. So the thicker clouds up in North Georgia and the rain nearby has helped to cool things off there a little bit faster. Tomorrow, we start off at 72. We could see rain at any time. Now, we don't think it's going to rain all day long, but we can see rain at any time as these waves are going to be pushing through, and temperatures up to about 83 degrees during those afternoon hours. So here's what we're watching tonight. This model isn't totally picking up all of the rain that we've had so far, but this is just kind of a rough idea of what we've got going on right now. But notice how that moves to the east. It starts diminishing a little bit more. But we're still not going to be finished with it. We're still going to have some additional scattered showers here overnight. And then in the morning for your drive into work, spotty showers for your drive. Not raining maybe your whole drive in, but maybe just some of those spotty showers around. Lunchtime, some breaks. Maybe not as much rain then. And then in the afternoon, additional showers developing, but not widespread. Moderate to heavy rain in some of those spots during the day tomorrow. And then in the evening tomorrow night, this is at 10 o'clock. Some additional areas of rain, not as much in north or northwest Georgia, but some good rain around metro Atlanta and over to the east of us Thursday night. Then going into Friday morning, still some of those showers around, and then that moves on over to the east and starts to fall apart on Friday. But the rain chances aren't over yet on Friday. They do come down from 60% to 40%, but we'll still have some of the spotty showers around. And then even getting into Saturday, rain chances on the lower end, most of that moisture is going to move out. But we're going to hold on to about a 20% chance for some spotty showers on Saturday as we get some of this wraparound moisture on the backside of the system that could still kick up a little bit of rain on Saturday. But we don't think it's going to be widespread or anything like that. Here's the moisture map. The orange and yellows that you see here over us tomorrow, that's that good area of moisture that would cause some rain here. And then into Friday, the bulk of that moves to the east with that thicker moisture, but still a little bit here on the backside that could give us some of those spotty showers. Same thing here for Sunday, 20% chance for a shower. But see how the drier air is trying to move in? This is the other thing I want you to watch. We have a potential tropical system that could be just off of the southeastern coastline going into next week. Most of that tropical moisture would stay well out to the east of us, but Could it spin back a little bit more into our area? That's why we're holding on to a low rain chance going into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But I really think some of this drier air is going to be coming in here on Wednesday. So here's the rain chance, 60% tomorrow, 40% Friday, and then low rain chances Saturday and Sunday. I know if you're going to the Georgia game, my daughter has already texted me a few times, Dad, what about Saturday? Is it going to rain for the Georgia game? What about tailgating? It's a low rain chance at 20%. Not a lot of rain around during the day on Saturday, but just be aware it may not be dry all day. You might have a spotty shower that you have to deal with, but it would be brief and it wouldn't last all day. Here's a look at the rain comparison. The models have been differing a little bit on how much rain we're going to get. The American model is still showing more than an inch of rain. We've been saying between 1 and 2 inches, but the European model is showing the 1 to 2 inches on the north side and lighter amounts, less than an inch here from Atlanta down to the south and west. East of us, maybe more than an inch of rain coming through there too. All right, let's spend a little time talking about Tropical Storm Umberto. This formed earlier today. This is the system we've been watching for days now, since it was coming off the coast of Africa. Now it's in an area more conducive for development. It has winds of 40 miles an hour, moving west-northwest at about 15 miles an hour. So I want you to watch, though, how over the next couple of days it maintains tropical storm strength, most likely until about Saturday afternoon when it becomes a hurricane as a Cat 1, and then potentially a Category 2 Sunday into Monday. Here's the Atlantic coastline. Here is Bermuda. This may thread the needle going between the Atlantic coastline and Bermuda, and then curve back up toward the north and also to the east. So we're not overly concerned about this system having any big impacts on or making any type of landfall on the United States, but you know things can change. We're going to keep watching it. There's another system that we're watching, all right? So this is Umberto. This is another system here near Puerto Rico and just to the south of Puerto Rico, where we have this X that you see there. Once this moves up to north of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, north of Cuba, but look at this, you got Turks and Caicos down here and the Bahama Island chain here. As this moves up into this area, this is going to be a little more favored to develop either into a tropical depression or a tropical storm. Hurricane Center giving it about an 80% chance of developing into a tropical depression or a tropical storm. But the models are also showing it either curving away or struggling to compete with Umberto, and Umberto may kind of rob some of the energy from it, and it could just dissipate here off of the eastern coast of Florida, but we'll have to keep an eye on that as it does that. Let me go back. I want to show you the spaghetti models here really quick. It kind of skipped over that before we end here, and before we end, I'm going to go back and show you the rain in North Georgia. But here's a look if these spaghetti models are going to show up for me. Please do. There we go. I want to show you both of these systems. Number one, this is Umberto. Again, kind of threading the needle between the U.S. coast and Bermuda, curving away. This is that other one. The next name on the list would be Imelda. If this becomes a tropical storm, that's the next name on the list. So that would go really through the Bahamas. Whether or not it's a tropical storm or a hurricane by then, we don't know. Because again, this is going to be struggling because of a lot of the ingredients are going to be sucked over into Umberto. But we'll watch this. The models are also showing it curving away. A couple of models are showing it potentially going into North Carolina. So we just have to keep an eye on that over the next few days. That wouldn't be until most likely the middle of next week if that happens. So we'll just keep a good close eye on that as well. And again, here's a look at that 80% area there where that storm could develop. So those chances are pretty high. Here's the European model showing the rain for our area tomorrow. Good coverage of that moisture around. Friday, a bulk of that to the east of us. And here you'll see on Saturday just some light green color indicating a very low risk for some isolated showers. Sunday again, 20% chance. And then there we're watching out to the east of us whether or not this is going to develop into anything and move away or if it's just going to dissipate. But we'll hold on to the low rain chances at about 20% going into those areas of next week. And temperatures look like they're going to stay in the lower 80s going into next week as well. So before I get to your 7-day forecast, I want to do another look at radar as these storms are approaching metro Atlanta right now, where we have the heavier rain on the north side. All right, while I'm right here, I want to do that look. where you can see the lightning count. Northwest Georgia down to Cleburne and Randolph over toward Athens. 30 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. So remember earlier we had 44 lightning strikes in a 15-minute period. Now it's down to 30. I'm liking what I'm seeing with that. Still a lot of lightning, but just not as much as we had. And that's an indicator that these storms are weakening as they continue moving over toward the east. But what I want you to be aware of, for those of you on the north side, north of I-20 here, in Cobb County, Paulding County, Bartow County, Cherokee County, heavy rain here, heavy rain from Canton northward. This is going to keep moving through Cobb, so just soak up this good heavy rain that's about to come into Cobb. Winds around 40 miles an hour or less. They're not severe, but still some good rain coming through there. And then pushing in and weakening a little bit more going into the metro area. The lightning count is coming down. These storms will continue weakening just a little bit more here as they move over to the east. So I've gone way over time. I'm going to go ahead and let me end with the 7-day forecast. I know I told you I was going to show you that. I've been on for about an hour and 18 minutes or hour and 15 minutes tracking these storms moving through here on streaming. Here's that 7-day outlook where we have those temperatures that are up to 83 tomorrow. 11 Alive weather impact alert in effect as we see the waves of rain moving through. Again, not a widespread severe weather event, just some isolated stronger storms, a lower end severe weather threat tomorrow. And then Friday, 40% chance for showers, temperatures at 81. Low rain chances Saturday and Sunday at 20%. 20% Monday and Tuesday, and then mainly drier Wednesday with those highs holding in the lower 80s pretty much throughout the period. 83, maybe closer to mid 80s here too. So thanks for watching this big time extended weather update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We will have another update for you coming up tonight at 11 o'clock on 11 Alive News. And I may bump back on in a few minutes if I see these storms. Again, they're weakening, but if I see anything that I feel like I need to get on for as these are pushing through the Atlanta area, I may come on in just a little bit too. So keep an eye on radar here that we'll have up for you. And then if I'm not on between now and 11, we will be back on at 11 o'clock tonight as we're tracking these storms rolling through our area, and then more extended coverage. We've got a lot of special weather updates planned for you throughout the day tomorrow as we have this 11 Alive weather impact alert in effect. So thanks for watching. We'll see you later with more.